Now here's the secret. If you see an average price sales history increasing over time, it's simple economics 101 that if it's increasing over time, there is not enough competition to drive those prices down. So there's low competition. On the other hand, if it were to decline in price over time. Welcome back to another best products to sell on Amazon video for this upcoming month. Today we're going to start out with the innovative product, which is usually the one we do last, but I've actually placed the high demand product to be the third product, which is the most exciting, so make sure you don't miss that. So for this month, the innovative product is going to be the kneeling bench for gardening. We'll scroll down through the first listing page here and you'll begin to notice a lot of similarities in the product design. So right off the bat, these sponsored listings, 3 out of 4 are a metal design that are green. So imagine these are probably coming from the same manufacturer given the very similar design. So let's keep that thought in mind. The top listings on the first listing page that are not sponsored, we see the exact same thing, right? So when I'm looking through this first listing page, I'm automatically thinking, one, I'm not going to sell something that is this green color, and two, I'd prefer not to sell something that is metal. That way I can stand out and I don't blend in with the competition. Now here's one sponsored one that I do like. This doesn't look like it's for actually gardening, but this looks like it's more so for peaceful meditation bench. But when I go ahead and I look for a supplier to manufacture a product, I'm going to be looking for a design that maybe incorporates some type of sustainable element, sustainable material to it, like such as bamboo or some type of wood. That way I can stand out from the rest of the competition. All right, onto the Jungle Scout data, and let's go through one thing that I enjoy about this data set, and then also one thing I'm a little bit hesitant about. Now, the thing that I really like is the seasonal trends that we're seeing in demand. So at the start of about, I'd say February to March, right around the time frame of when I'm making this video near the end of March, we begin to see this increase in gardening in general, and also for this specific type of product, with a peak being in June of this year. So that is something that we've seen over the past 2 years. I would almost guarantee that we're going to see the peak in June, as we saw in the past 2 years. So that's good news if you begin selling this product now, because it'll probably take 30 to 45 days before you can begin selling that on Amazon.com. And then that would be really the peak, right before the peak demand that we're seeing here. And this demand does decline throughout the summer, but it's still relatively high, relatively speaking, I should say, up until the end of August. So that is one thing I really like about it, is just the elevated levels of demand we're seeing through the search volume trend, but it also introduces a good point, and that's really the concerning part of this, is that it is a seasonal product. So if you begin selling this product in July or August of this year, do not expect a great return on your investment, because this type of bench is not going to be in demand for the fall and the winter months. So it's very important, if you would like to sell a product like this, you want to begin selling this when demand begins to pick up. That way you can ride those highs throughout that seasonal trend. All right, so just a minute ago, I was explaining how I wanted to incorporate some type of sustainable material and also something that isn't metal. And I found this bamboo meditation bench. So this also introduces a good idea, I would say, when you're looking for products. Don't necessarily go to Alibaba or DHgate or your supplier website to source suppliers. And don't just immediately go to type in kneeling bench for gardening. Think creatively. That way you can find products that the everyday seller who's searching for this type of product is not going to discover. So when I began my search, I was looking for meditation benches because, one, it will solve a similar problem to the kneeling bench for gardening, and two, it will also introduce different designs that I can adapt into this type of niche. So it's very easy to take a meditation bench and to convert it into a gardening bench. So that's the product here. It folds up nicely and it's easy to carry, which I thought was very strategic for at least gardening. Since it folds up, you can carry it around the garden and you can quickly expand it into a kneeling bench. So this is a little bit more pricey, so I would expect a higher sales price in comparison to those metal ones that we're seeing. Right now we're about $9.80, and I'd say about $2 to $3 in shipping per unit. All right, and over to the Seller Buddy margin calculator, and I put the sales price actually at the median value, which was $39.09. So at that product with about $2 to $3 of shipping added on to it per unit, we're right about a 32% profit margin, which is slightly below my minimum criteria. However, keep in mind, I didn't increase the price past the median point. So with this bamboo material and this unique product for the kneeling bench for gardening, I think you could actually increase this up into the low to mid 40s to get you there if you really needed to. Okay, and the second product for this month, that is the low competition product. The niche of sticker organizer will be the product that we're going to be taking a look at. As the name and the niche suggests, this is simply just an organizer for stickers, a very simple problem that you can solve with some type of organizational product. Now I'm noticing two different type of products that I'm seeing on the first listing page. I'm seeing binder sets. I'm also seeing these plastic organizer boxes, which seem to be quite popular throughout this first listing page. For the data set this time, let's start out with one thing that is concerning right off the bat, and that would be the search volume trend over the past 2 years. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you have a consistent search volume over the past 2 years and it's not increasing or decreasing, but ideally for a long-term product, we want to see that growth because that means we have a better chance of introducing our product to the market, and there's going to be more room, more of a market share for us that we can actually be successful in that niche. Now, I will say one thing that's very interesting about this search volume trend and the average units sold, which is what we're about to take a look at, the good thing, is that first, keep this in mind that our average search volume is about 2,000 to 3,000 weekly searches, and that's pretty consistent, give or take, some of the seasonal upticks that we see here. Now, what I want you to pay attention to here is the average units sold history. So when I'm taking a look at this, I would expect based on that search volume, how it's relatively consistent, for the average units sold history to be also consistent. Yet we are seeing a major spike in sales over the past month in March, nearly 4 times, over 400% from what we saw in previous months dating back 2 years from now. So this begs the question, what happened in March that sticker organizers became so popular, yet people weren't really typing in sticker organizers to purchase this type of product? That answer, it's unknown, and many times it's very difficult to figure out the reason why. Typically there's some type of social media viral trend, such as a TikTok video that introduces this product to a vast amount of people, millions of people, and they end up finding this product based on that. So it's hard to say, but this is one thing I do really like about this product, because this could be an early sign that demand is going to continue to rise for this type of product. But keep in mind that this could also go back to these normal levels, which isn't bad. It's still a couple hundred units on average sold each month, but it's just something to keep in mind. So unfortunately, when I was sourcing products on Alibaba, it was very difficult to find something that really stood out. And one thing that I did notice on the first listing page, however, is that there's a lot of these transparent designs that we're taking a look at now. So I thought, okay, let's take a successful design such as this, and let's see if we can differentiate it with a color variation. That's typically the easiest way to separate yourself from existing sellers, is to put a bold color design out there in front of customers. It makes it that much easier for a customer to identify your product, click on it, and hopefully convert that sale. So my idea here would be to sell this orange product, the same design that we commonly saw on the first listing page. So they sell this in orange and also transparent. I would sell the orange or a different color variation just so I can stand out, yet I'm still solving that same problem for many customers to organize their stickers. All right, at the median sales price of $22.42, we're looking at a much higher profit margin than the previous product at 48%. Nearly half of your revenue you'll get to keep if you were to meet these numbers before advertising cost. So at 200 estimated sales per month, that's roughly a profit of about $2,100. Before we look at our final product here today, do not forget that I offer mentorship services on Patreon, and I also offer freelancing services for your Amazon listing and product research on Fiverr. If you need general coaching advice or custom strategies to grow your business, consider joining our Patreon group where I can help you one-on-one. On the other hand, if you need help researching a product idea, creating your listing, or your ad campaign, then check out my Fiverr gigs. Now make sure to reach out to me on Fiverr through direct messaging before you place your order so I can give you 5% off for watching this video. In that message, make sure to include the package, any extras that you want, and then this unique code so I can give you the 5% off. All right, let's get back to the top products for this month. Okay, on to our final product of the month, and that is the high demand product, or the niche of flathead baby pillow. Now, before we go ahead and we take a look at the designs and the listings on the first listing page, let's try to understand what this actually is and what problem this pillow would be solving. So the syndrome is flathead syndrome or plagiocephaly, and this is mainly for infants when their skull is still developing during the first 6 to 12 months, and they're spending the majority of their time laying on the back of their head. So while that skull is developing, if they're laying on the head, it can actually create a flat spot in the skull. So that's just an idea of the problem that we'd be solving here. And so a lot of these designs actually incorporate some type of circular opening in the pillow so the skull can actually expand versus just lying flat. So that was a very unique product here, and as you can see from the first listing page, it's definitely a new and novel product. So this could be also an innovative product, but you'll see the demand is very high, and that's why I ended up choosing it for that. So the first listing page, we're seeing just a handful of listings with actual ratings and some that don't even have any ratings, yet they're still placing very high on the first listing page. So I think in our design, we would definitely have to have this circular opening. That way we could solve that problem for the parent and the infant, and also introduce an attractive pillow to infants and parents. I think that'd be imperative in this product selection. All right, so before we get into the average price history, which is what I really enjoy about this product niche, just look on the left side here. You can see all the niches that have anything to relate to flathead baby. It automatically has an 8 out of 10 niche score, and that's just multiple niches that are performing very high. So that's always a good sign. Now let's move on to the average price history, and I'm going to introduce a secret that you may not be aware of. So when you look at a chart like this, what I like to do is I take a look at the average unit price back maybe 2 years ago, so $19.92, and I take a look at it today, $23.89. Now here's the secret. If you see an average price sales history increasing over time, it's a simple economics 101 that if it's increasing over time, there is not enough competition to drive those prices down. So there's low competition. On the other hand, if it were to decline in price over time, it's the opposite scenario where there's too high of competition or enough competition to drive those prices down. Simple supply and demand. That is what I really love about this product, is that we saw an increase of almost $4 over the past 2 years in average price history. That suggests low competition and a lot of room for new sellers to join the niche. So that's the good news. The bad news, I would say, or the concerning news, is just the search volume. So this is what it was like with the previous product, with a very consistent search volume with maybe seasonal or holiday spikes here and there. Nothing to be concerned about with the spikes, but with a high demand product, we'd hope to see an increase in search volume trend over the past 2 years. All right, and the product that I found is from a verified supplier that's been on Alibaba for over 12 years, very credible based on their credentials. And what I love about this product is, one, it's totally different from anything you've seen on Amazon. And two, it's a backpack pillow, if you will. So the infant, when they're maybe 8 to 12 months maybe, or even older, they can carry this pillow on their back, and it has a multi-purpose design. So initially, the baby's going to lay on it when they're an infant to prevent that flat head skull syndrome. And now they can go ahead and they can use this as a toy, as a pillow they carry around on the go. There are many uses for this design, not just a simple problem that solves when the baby's 0 to 6 months, let's just say. All right, so we saved the best for last in terms of product design and I think long-term potential. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Seller Buddy margin calculator to better understand what the investment would look like. So at the average sales price of $26.98, which I think is relatively low for this type of product given its unique design and the problem that it's solving, it's also a multi-purpose functionality product. Even at that medium price, we're taking a look at a 46% profit margin and nearly $2,500 in monthly profit. Now, I would say, if it was me, I'd sell this closer to the $30 range at $29.99, and that puts us at that 50% margin, which is ideal, and close to $3,000 in profit for 200 estimated sales. Thanks for checking out this month's video. Make sure to subscribe to be the first to know the next products for the upcoming month.